Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Toffees, guys, the Dota 2 morning show that brings you all the information and the news roundups that you need to start your day. I'm Toffees, as always, glad to be here with you first thing in the morning, whether that's you at the gym, driving to work, or just hanging out, falling asleep at night. I'm glad to be in your podcast or wherever it is. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Toffees_Dota2. You can get the podcast over on iTunes, the RSS feed on SoundCloud, and of course, if you want to support the show, if you want to keep it advertising free, we have been approached by a couple of folks who are interested in sponsoring the show or moving to their channels or sort of taking over some of the management of it. And honestly, I want to keep it grassroots. I want to keep it for the fans. I want to keep it for the community. And if you want to support that, Patreon, patreon.com/Toffees. And you can go ahead and contribute as you feel necessary. If that's kind words, if that's $1 here or there, it would be great to help out. So that is my introduction, guys. It looks like we are going to start doing the intros right now of our guests. The first guest I'm going to introduce to you is Feedernoob, the queen of cosmetics, who joins us every Friday to talk about new stuff that's coming out. And how are you doing today, Feeder?
There is no new stuff, so I'm doing terribly, but otherwise okay.
Excellent. So it sounds like we're having some issues. Our second guest today is Jordan, who is the founder of the AD2L. All right, he got that thing up and started a while back ago. It's probably, I venture to say, the largest, if not one of the probably top 3 amateur tournaments in, I know for sure, North and South America, probably even beyond that. And once we can get his headset fixed, then we can start chatting to him a little bit about what's going on with him. But he is here today. If you want to follow the Amateur Dota League, you can find them at AD2L. Basically, super easy over on Twitter. And in a little while, once he gets the mic fixed, we're going to talk about building a Dota League from the ground up and some of the things that go along with that. So I'm going to leave it to Jordan to keep kind of fidgeting with that Skype while I go through the news feature of the show, and we'll go from there. So, that said, pro news. This is the first stuff that we need to talk about today. Big thing, the only major news, other than the ESL, which we'll get to in a second, but this is a pretty big one, is that Go Black has returned to Virtus Pro. So they say that once Virtus Pro gets Go Black, they will obviously have to have him come back, and that's exactly what they did. Is he went out and he started NVMI, a team name that I will not even try to pronounce in its entirety, but they've been doing really well, won some massive matches against teams like Na'Vi, and were picked up just, I think it was yesterday, by Virtus Pro. They've officially signed as Virtus Pro Polar, which is pretty exciting. A cool new name, a cool new team. What do you think about that, guys?
I've been enjoying watching them play.
I know.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. They are. They've got that Western style of, I don't know, that what do I want to call it, that Ukrainian flair, that Russian flair that comes with that aggressive style of play. The stuff that made us fall in love with Dendi on day one. You see a lot out of Na'Vi, or NVMI, which is now obviously Virtus Pro. Hey, Jordan, have you been following any of the Virtus Pro developments at all? Well, if you are talking, we cannot hear you, so I don't know if your mic is really low or what's going on there, but we'll get that fixed up as well in just a second. So, second piece of information that is pretty interesting is ESL 1. So that is a massive tournament, we all know, coming up very soon, just down the street from yours truly over in the NYC. For those of you who aren't down with the hip jive, that's New York City, folks. And the talent lineup has been updated for ESL 1. So we knew previously that Toby, Cap, Merlini, Cinder, and Malk, and I never remember how to say his name, Sebastian, I don't want to say it on the air, Mr. Mad himself, were going to be working the desk and doing the casting. We knew that Som was going to be doing interviews, and we had Red Eye as a host. Well, they've added DJ Wheat as a host. They've added the Pyrian Flax, the intrepid man himself, the master of the noob stream, onto the analysis desk. And last but not least, Sir Action Slaps, Jacob Canner, a friend of the AD2L, a friend of the show, and a guy who I think we all learned to love, is actually officially on as an interviewer. So this is a really good story to me because we all remember probably about, what, 6 months ago was it, Feeder, when his computer broke and he started the Kickstarter? Do you remember?
I remember watching him put his computer together, the new one.
Yeah.
It was pretty epic. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. How long ago was that? That was a couple of months, right?
I think so. It was. All I can remember is that I was very nervous for the CPU, but it came out okay.
It survived. But so what you need to know about Sir Action Slacks is he makes videos. He does stupid voices. At the end of the day, he had some computer issues. He said, I got to stop making videos. And somebody said, hey, why don't you start a Kickstarter and see if the fans want to support you? He made something like $10,000 off the Kickstarter, used that to build a computer to make videos, and then took the rest of the money and invested it in community content. So on his website, you can find all kinds of stuff. He took his girlfriend to TI and they did interviews. He was out there doing interviews in a non-official capacity. So a lot of fun stuff like that. And the cool thing to me, I guess, is the fact that he went from one of us, just a regular person like you and me watching the show, to being invested in the community, and now he's an official invite coming to ESL 1 New York, one of the biggest events, doing interviews alongside of the people who have been in the field forever. That's kind of cool, right? I mean, that means that any of us could technically get there.
Well, it's about entertainment, and
right.
Action Slacks is very entertaining. He worked so hard at TI. I think it makes sense to have him there.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So we just had a new guest join us. It looks like Highsenburg, the captain of Two Fish, the winner of the AD2L, was able to get connected to the internet. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I apologize that overslept my alarm, so I'm glad to be here, though.
Don't even worry about it. It's a morning show. It happens. And Jordan, have we had any luck with your microphone yet?
I don't know. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. There you are. As long as you speak up a little bit, we'll be golden and good to go.
Okay, I'll try to be loud and clear.
That was absolutely perfect. So, gentlemen, the two of you just got here. We just talked about Sir Action Slacks making it to ESL 1. Is that awesome? Is that encouraging to you in some way? Do you have no opinions and could care less?
I am a huge fan of Sir Action Slacks. He's helped us out a lot in the AD2L. I met him at TI, actually, and the nicest guy. He was so nice, more than happy to talk. He was taking time. He was really a great guy. I'm super happy for him.
Excellent, excellent. I love it, and it gives me encouragement as somebody who's just doing a show every day, maybe can have a chance to go to one of those major events as well. So that's why I'm probably talking about it so much. The dream is real, but let's keep moving. Tournament news, guys. Let's talk about tournaments that have gone on or are going on right now. A quick update before we get to the interview phase. The biggest probably tournament thing you need to know right now is that Game 24 is going on. That is a 4-team invitational for $15,000 being hosted by AC. It's AC doing the show. And the first game already played out. C9 beat EG, took a little bit of revenge for WEC, or so Join Dota claims. I would argue that based on the prize pool, not all that big of revenge as far as EG is concerned, but hey, they got a victory over EG. EG drops out. Alliance versus Team Tinker is in full swing right now. And then today, this afternoon, around 2 p.m. EDT, you get to see the winner of AA versus, Alliance versus Tinkerino go up against C9. So that should be a pretty good game this afternoon. Second tournament to talk about. Star Ladder is continuing to kind of run through its courses. You're seeing the points start to fall out. The North American League is still anybody's game. EG is at 18, but Narvi is at 15, and NT is at 15 as well. So EG's got people chomping on their heels, and teams that I think most of us thought would not be able to keep pace with them. Do you guys have any idea why you think it is that EG's having so much trouble holding off the chase of these younger teams or less experienced teams?
I've actually been following them quite a bit ever since Fear had rejoined, ever since Mason has been removed from their roster. I personally, I believe they're not sticking to their really core idea of, I believe EG, they always secure the late game. You see Zai always on a very greedy 4 support, and they're able always to control the map, really punish the teams as long as they make it past the 30-minute mark. I feel like they've been really switching that around, and it's really hurting them, I've noticed.
Yeah, it definitely made some changes, and we did talk about that. We broke on the show about a month ago that Fear and Zai had talked about switching off positions every once in a while, and it's been sometimes successful. The Zai, I believe we saw the Zai Meepo a couple of weeks ago that just blew everyone out of the water. That said, though, is it enough to change it up? When you've got a team that has a winning recipe, do you change the recipe? Is it important to keep it fresh or important to keep it the same? And that's a tough question because I think we can all agree that Na'Vi is an example of a team that tried to keep it the same, and it didn't really work out for them after their big win. So we'll keep an eye on that as Starladder continues to develop. Now keep in mind, this is the group stages, and a lot of teams sort of just make sure they're in the top 2 or 3 and will maybe throw a game or not care as much about one because at the end of the day, these are the group brackets, and they just mean seeding as long as you're in the top 4 and can get out of your group. The EU-Russian group is a surprise to me because this is a stacked group, right? It's massive, but it's being led right now far and away by Team Tinkerino, who's got 30 points over their nearest competitor, who's sitting at 21. So they're locking in a really nice push there, just barely above Secret, Na'Vi, and Cloud9. The rest of the teams have really fallen off, and the one that surprises me the most is teams like Empire and NVMI, the new Virtus Pro Polar, who are still stuck down in the single-digit level. So China is done. SEA, same idea. Actually, over the weekend, this is a good one. So when we checked in on Wednesday, Titan was up and ridiculously ahead of the entire league. Since then, XCTN and Johnny's have both tied Titan with a game in the pocket. So SEA, if you want to watch some Starladder's competitive games, SEA looks like it's going to be getting wicked impressive over the next week. So I would definitely say check that out. Next tournament that's up right now, Excellent Moscow Cup, is in full swing. Team Empire is on the top of that list, just above Na'Vi and NVMI. So have anybody had a chance to be watching that tournament at all?
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. Pimp Munkle is doing the casting with Wakey, and I know those guys really well. They're really great, and it's been great. I mean, he's been over on Hitbox, a lot of good viewers.
It's been a pretty good Hitbox experience, I think, for those of us who've watched it.
Yeah, really good.
So this is an example, guys. If you're going to release a streaming network, do it the way that Hitbox did. Run the Bounty Hunter, run EMC, be prepared. Don't pull See Me Play about a month ago. I still can't get over how terrible that experience was.
It was terrible.
So no other words for that. The last update we have for you is the ESL. China qualifiers have wrapped up. European qualifiers and American qualifiers in full swing this weekend. So make sure you tune in. We won't go into picks, but I am going to let you know. So far, the deepest we've gone in the European brackets, our Alliance, Secret, and Na'Vi have moved into the third round of play. North America is going to be a good weekend, though, because we've got EG versus Complexity, which is going to be a very interesting game. Obviously, EG the favorite. Complexity's got a lot to prove and can do it. They've been trying to prove that they deserve to be in that upper tier grouping, and I think that this game gives them a chance to prove it. Win or lose, if they give EG a run, it validates them a lot in their position. That said, we're going to have Nyx, Root versus Na'Vi US, TC top 5. Some really great teams, including MSS's, playing it out this week, so it should be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune into that. And those are your tournament updates. You now know what's going on in the world of Dota. And that only took 15 minutes, which means we got tons of time to chat with all of the guests that I brought on today. And you're probably wondering, Toffees, why do you have so many guests? And the answer is simple. AD2L just wrapped up. That, for those of you who don't know, that's the Amateur Dota 2 League. And I've got Jordan, who is the founder of the AD2L, put the thing together once upon a time a couple of seasons ago, and has really grown it into what can only be described as a monster of epic proportions. And I also have with me Highsenburg, the captain of Two Fish, who won the Legends, the upper division of AD2L this week. So basically they go hand in hand. I want to talk to them about the amateur tournament scene and moving from obscurity to recognition, because that's exactly what both of these guys have been doing with their organization. So glad to have you guys first off. I appreciate you being here today, and I do want to start out with Jordan. A couple of questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Bring it.
Oh, bring it. Yeah, it's that moment before Hunger Games starts when we're like running it. Anyway, so First and foremost, let me ask you, what is the AD2L about, and how would I join if I wanted to? Can I join? Am I the right kind of person to join?
Toffees, you are just the man we want. In fact, I think you're the only man we want.
Well, my wife feels the same way, I hope.
AD2L we started it back in December of 2013. It really was a focus of just teams that wanted to come and play a weekly game that meant something, a little more than just team matchmaking.
Yeah.
And so we started it out, and it really has become more of a community. A lot of the people I've gotten to know very, very well and personally, and it's just become a lot of people just having a good time every week.
That's awesome. So, and I should preface this, guys, with some of you may know me from my casting as much as the morning show or vice versa. I got started with the AD2L. Jordan gave me my first casting job. So, it's not there. Maybe there's some nepotism here, but I think that AD2L is a phenomenal amateur tournament, and they do just that. They focus on community and developing teams from the ground up. How long have you guys been running? I think you said it earlier.
Yeah, December of last year. So it's been 10 months.
So 10 months. And in that 10 months, do you have any inkling of what your first season looked like versus your most recent season?
Oh, yeah. Like you're saying numbers-wise?
Yeah.
Definitely. First season, we probably had, I would guess, 45 teams is what it was at.
Not bad for a premiere.
No, yeah, it was fine. I was pretty excited.
And what was your last season like?
Season 4, which just is concluding right now, we had over 300 teams starting off. And some dropped out since then, but yeah, a lot more.
So that's some massive growth. So how do you go from running a small tournament with, I assume, maybe one division of 45 to a tournament that has 300 plus teams? Did you have to create additional divisions? Like, what does that look like?
It looks like pain is what it feels like. But no, we've had to change a lot, and we're still changing a lot as we go through and we find, oh, this didn't work so well. And so, yeah, second season we had a huge division. The third season, like this season, we split it up again into smaller divisions to try to make it better with different tiers of playoffs and money. And yeah, we've been trying lots of different things.
Okay. So that said, I mean, we've literally got different money, different tiers, different skill levels, and it seems like they're mostly competitive. We'll find out for sure when we talk to Highsenburg in just a second. But a couple of things. So that means a fair amount of funding, right? Because you've got a lot of prize pools to put up and things like that. How is that going? Is it tough to fund an amateur tournament? Is there something that we as viewers can do to help to build the scene? And I also want to know, was your funding affected significantly by the change that Valve made to tournament drops earlier this year?
Yeah, our primary income definitely was from ticket sales. When they made that change, it hit us pretty hard. But I understand. We just had to react accordingly. So it hurt.
It hurt. I understand. So if people want to help out with the scene, create the funding to help these tournaments grow, is there anything that they can do? Is it still just ticket sales? Or is there other ways that you found to try and help fund the tournament?
No, we are using Patreon, similar to what you're using. Patreon.com/AD2L, and we're definitely getting some decent support over there, and that's helping a lot. And we accept donations, of course, but right. Mostly it's just Patreon and some ticket sales, and we're just trying to do what we can to get money where we can. Do what you can. And obviously, you've tried to get a stream going, but it's one of those things, like, it's tough to build from the ground up. So, yeah. Guys, keep that in mind, that if you like the growing scene, the North and South American amateur to semi-pro scene, the teams that are coming out of it, support it, help it grow, get the tickets, but also look at other options as well, because a 99-cent ticket won't always support what we need in sort of operational costs. So when do sign-ups start for Season 5? Is there going to be a Season 5? Is the division setup going to be different? Tell me a little bit more. Give me a free preview of what's to come. Yeah, it is going to be a little bit different. Season 5, actually, you have me on at the perfect time, because sign-ups will be out tomorrow. Tomorrow! For Season 5, yeah. We'll open up registration, and we're going to... a big problem we had with so many teams is we had a lot of teams not show up. And so next season we're going to do a lot harder work. We're going to charge just $1 or $5 in items for teams to start off. If they've played with us in the past, they can pretty much get bumped in for free. Our main issue is we want teams to show up. So we don't want people just signing up and then just disappearing. Makes sense. So kind of a reason to be there, hopefully, right, so you don't lose something. That makes sense. So tomorrow they can go to, what's the website? AmateurDota2League.com. Excellent. They can sign up for Season 5 of the AD2L. Are you going to have multiple tiered divisions with different prize pools as well this year? Yes, we will. Yep, we're gonna tear it out with different divisions.
Excellent. So that, guys, what that means is that you're interested in getting involved. It doesn't mean you're going to go up against teams like Two Fish, who are winning the Legends League to start out. You're going to go up against people more in your skill range. The idea being that they want you to have fun while you're there, and I think that that's the best part of AD2L. Let me ask you this final question. This is going to be an interesting one for me. What is the hardest part of running a tournament like the AD2L?
I've honestly run a lot more the invitational, the higher leagues the last 2 seasons. And so for me, the pain and, reschedules is real. People need to reschedule all the time. And while most of these teams are very, like, Highsenburg has been amazing for being on time, being reliable, letting me know of any change of schedule. But so many teams just don't show up or they don't let you know what their schedule is and they reschedule. So if I'm trying to schedule a caster, and none of the teams are there, then the casters get kind of mad because they're wasting their time, they're showing up, and the teams don't show up. So just, I would say reliability. I don't blame all the teams. A lot of them are very busy, especially these competitive ones, doing a lot of different tournaments. But it just makes it's difficult to get all the scheduling done.
Makes sense. All right, so that's a little bit from Jordan. Talked about the league. Sign up, start tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. Let's talk a little more to Highsenburg specifically. I mean, obviously, Jordan, if you want to jump in or you have input or feedback, let's hear it. But starting out, man, you won the top division of AD2L. This is one of the biggest amateur tournaments in North-South America and Europe in a lot of ways, especially since the Legends League has a lot of European teams that play into it. You walked away with some decent cash in pocket. What's the next step for you guys? You're going to Disneyland, or do you actually have a plan?
We've actually been trying to hone in. We've created a new drafting style, or I wouldn't say create, but at least for our team to participate in. And we've actually just been trying to win SEX. I'm sure you've heard of it, just the Sunday Evening Cup Series.
Absolutely. I may broadcast it on a regular basis. So I think you guys actually won last week, didn't you?
Yes, actually. We played against Boreals Sports, I believe, in the finals. And I believe we put up a pretty good fight against them. It was a very close game. Very exciting.
Absolutely was. Getting to finals is a massive achievement, especially against some of the huge players that show up in the SCS in that stage of the game. So you're putting together some new draft strategy, getting yourself practice in the SCS. Let me ask you this: regarding the tournament, how did it feel to win the whole thing? And was the level of competition in that Legends series what you expected?
Actually, the win in the finals was it was very rewarding. So Root Gaming was our opponent. Speaking historically in professional matches, we were 0-3 against them. Okay. So it was actually going into it a very heavy mindset going into the finals. We basically, everyone was nervous. We weren't too sure, and just pulling through in the final day of 3-1. It was so exciting. My friends, we wish we all lived closer together, so we could have gone out for drinks after. But we did what we could. We hung up on Skype, and we made our own drinks in our house, and it was great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So you went up against Root, a team that we see in the ESL, we see in the Canada Cup, we see in a lot of competitive venues as well, and you beat them, and you did a really great job. It was a lot of fun to watch. I noticed also that you posted on your Twitter right after finishing, I believe, that you were looking for sponsors. Is that real? Are you guys out there actively trying to get the team sponsors and take Two Fish to the next level? And if so, what does that sort of look like? Is that something you guys have been trying to do for a while?
So we actually, before our name was Two Fish, we were actually formally sponsored by Dust Gaming. The sponsorship in the company, we met with the owner and everything, and everyone was friendly. It was just, at the end of the day, after playing with them for about 2 months and representing them, they didn't really offer much to us in regards to managerial benefits or anything of that sort. So we actually decided to leave and become free agents again. So we took up more of a fun name and a fun design, and we feel that we play better without a manager on our back. So for the meantime, though we are looking for sponsors, we're not rushing to jump into anything.
So you're looking for the sponsorship that works for you, which I think is a great part of Dota, right? I mean, you can still get into open qualifiers, you can still play in big tournaments, and you don't have to have the big names backing you just yet. So it really makes it a player-centric system if you choose to make it that way. Do you mind asking me who is your current roster right now? Can you give us the names, maybe the positions that they're the best at?
Sure, absolutely. So we're pretty strict on our positions at the moment. Each player follows a certain role. We feel best that way instead of just rotating like some teams like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Highsenburg. I'm the one player, the carry player. Our two or mid player is Susie. He goes by 747 is his Steam name.
Okay.
Our 3 or off lane player, his name is Bob. He goes by the name of 470. Our 4 player, which is May, and our 5 player is Loki. I personally, I love my team a lot, and I love having players like Loki and May, especially as a carry player to back me up and support. It really makes punching creeps easy, Toffee.
Absolutely. You can't. It's a lot harder to punch a creep when you don't have the support of your team, even if that means rotating and scaring the crap out of the other team. So always great to have good supports. Do you have other tournaments that you guys are set up for in the next couple of months? Or are you looking for things to play in right now?
We've actually been contacted by UGC for that upcoming tournament, so we have registered for that. The playoffs for CEVO are coming up soon. And we did make the playoffs, so that's something we're definitely working towards finishing.
Awesome.
Right now, we actually contacted LD to see if we can try to maybe enter the pre-qualies for the summit.
Makes sense.
So we're definitely trying to expand, but at the moment, it's just a little difficult because all of our schedules are lean more towards the weekend and later shifts, so that we can enter kind of the earlier tournaments, which is something we're trying to fix with our team right now, schedule-wise.
That is the struggle of making the move into the pro scene. So if you guys want to know more, you can follow him at Highsenburg, high as in a kite, SENBERG 2358, and he can let you know what's happening with the team if you want to go hit that follow. If you want to follow Jordan, the leader of the AD2L, the intrepid kingpin, you can follow him at AD2L. And keep in mind, their sign-up start tomorrow. So, guys, I appreciate you both being here. We'll talk a little bit more as we roll through, but I want to make sure we have time to get to Cosmetic Corner with the Queen of Cosmetics, Feeder. And I think she might have some questions for you guys as well. Feeder, giving it to you.
Yeah, so it's been awfully quiet this past week. I'm expecting something big soon, but
I hope so.
you never know. Valve time. So, as long as we have Jordan and Highsenburg here, this is something that's always sort of rolling around in my mind, and especially now that tournaments are getting these huge prize pools, it seems like it's really difficult for a small tournament to get started these days. And they used to give out heroic drops for any tournament, any number of viewers. You would be guaranteed to get drops if you went and watched that tournament. That has not been the case for some time now. Jordan, you said it hurt a little bit, but you understood. I'm curious, how does it for a tournament the size of AD2L, and what's your thought process on why you're okay with that?
When we first started, we were probably getting viewers on Dota TV around 300, even 500. We broke 500 viewers on Dota TV at certain times. And then once that dropped, we're probably on Dota TV 25 to maybe 50 is what we get. So it's a big difference. We're talking, 90% decrease in viewers. And why I'm okay with it, I understand that a lot of people just bought the 99-cent ticket because they could get a lot of items. As an amateur league, we didn't have a ton of viewers like a professional league would have, and so you really could just farm those items. I really got a lot of items myself, tons and tons, just because I was watching a lot of the games. And so I just get a ton of items. I think that's how we got, how you got involved with AD2L as well, is that you were watching a lot of the games, probably, I'm guessing, to get some of the items.
That's why I started.
Right, exactly. And it kind of makes me sad that, I'm not as hurt about the viewers not getting the ticket sales. I'm more hurt that I don't feel like we get our name out as much.
You don't get that exposure, because that's true. I mean, I got my start too because I started doing some casting and figured, while I'm on, I'll just watch some games because it's lots of items and a good community, and the chat was phenomenal because of that. So that is tough. To spin off of what Feedernoob asked you, you guys then the next season released the Billy Bounce Back ticket combo. So you got a chance to do the courier thing. How was that?
It was good. It wasn't. I don't think the sales of the courier were as great as I had hoped. And I'm not sure whether just maybe our courier wasn't as big of a hit. I really like the courier, but it's probably at a competitive market. There's a lot of different couriers out there right now. And if I went back, I probably wouldn't do a courier. I have thought about doing items again, but probably not a courier is probably what I wouldn't do.
Have they? I know a while back there was a post, I think it was 4 months ago, from the Canadian Cup where Valve was going to change it so that only Premier tournaments could have an item with a ticket. Do you know, is that still the case, or did they relax the rules there?
They have relaxed the rules, yeah. So I believe that we could apply for an item bundle if we wished.
So, and when you do apply for an item bundle, now I know that there's a lot. Now, when we look at it from my side, right, when the ticket comes out, I see a courier and a ticket and a combo purchase, and I assume that the $5.99 I'm paying goes to the tournament. What portion of that goes to you? What portion goes to Valve? And what portion goes to the designer of the cosmetic?
So I think you work out everything with your artist, however you want to do it. But typically, I think the standard rate is so generally, every ticket sale, you get 25%. That's before taxes and fees. So probably at the end of the day, we make 20 cents off of a 99-cent ticket. So per ticket, we make 20 cents probably.
Okay.
And then for a courier bundle, I think generally it's 50-50 after that. So if we had a $3.99 ticket, so we get 25%, which would be $1. Then they get half. So the designer, the artist, would get 50% as well. So we'd end up with, 45 cents after taxes and fees. I'm guessing. This is my estimation. 45 cents per ticket.
So that's tough, because that puts a really tough decision on you, right? Because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you sell a ticket with an item for $3.99 versus a ticket without an item for 99 cents, your potential return is about 20 cents more per ticket. But the question is, do you think that you sell more tickets with an item attached to it for $3.99 or more tickets at a 99-cent rate?
I mean, at that point, you're betting heavily on your item, right?
Right.
So if you have an awesome item, you're going to sell tons. But, if you have an item that maybe is just normal, then you might sell some, but it probably, I don't think it made up. I think it was probably about even, honestly. If we would have got a 99-cent ticket, I think we probably would have made about the same amount of money.
Makes sense. Sorry to steal some of that time, Feeder. Do you have another question?
No, this is really what I wanted to talk about. I guess just for Highsenburg, since you're here too, I'm curious how you feel about the fact that you might not get as many player drops. As a player, when you started out doing tournaments, did it feel exciting to have these items with your name on it?
Yeah, is it embarrassing to admit that I go on the Steam market to look for items dropped by me?
I would.
No, it is not. I do the same thing after every game, so I completely appreciate it.
So I mean, it is a little bit disappointing that it doesn't come up as much anymore, because I've had this dream of, how you can display 8 items on your profile.
Yeah.
My dream is to get the 8 Highsenburg items. I haven't gotten there yet. I only gotten 1, so I'm hoping for in the future that that more will appear. But yeah,
let me go check my inventory.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you're an AD2L fan, guys, or any tournament that Highsenburg's played in, go check your inventories, and you can tweet him. He's in the market, so get your hands on a key.
Actually,
you in charge.
I just picked up a couple dollars from winning, so I would not be afraid to throw some dollars in their direction if I can get a couple of those.
There you go. Jordan making people rich. So that's about all the time that we have today, guys. Before we leave, though, I want to go over our picks of the day. And I've got a ton of guests, and I made them all pick out games that they think you should watch today as we go forward. So I want to start out with Feeder. What's your pick of the day?
I'm going to be in a meeting, but if I wasn't, I'd want to see Navi versus Empire coming up soon.
Navi Empire. That'll be a fast game. It'll be a lot of fun. So that should be really good. What do you think, Jordan?
My pick of the day, I really love the teams that have played for us, and so to see Root Gaming playing at the ESO 1 qualifiers right now versus Navi US, I'm definitely going to be watching that game. It's on my phone, on my calendar. Super proud of them that they were there. Highsenburg for beating Root.
Right, and Highsenburg's probably going to watch that one and pray to God that they beat Navi US so they can be like, yeah, I beat the team that beat Navi US. Like, what up? What up now? What's your pick, Highsenburg?
So I actually have some rares on LGD versus LAI. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that game. LGD recently, I believe, last night they lost to HGT.
Yep.
So I was a little disappointed there because I'm a big fan of Sylar. So we'll see how it goes on this one.
So maybe they'll go for some redemption and get you some rares. That should be
I hope so.
that should be pretty good. So that'll be a lot of fun. I've got the list pulled up on the stream. If you guys go over to watch the replay of all the games, you can check it out at Gozu, as they've got the list. It's the easiest to read. Love Join Dota, but your countdown timers are really difficult to handle for someone who's bad at math like I am. But as far as my picks for the day go, honestly, I really am excited about the Canada Cup this evening. There's going to be a pretty good matchup going on between Hot Hands, I believe it is, and Cast by Kodo Guys. So it'll be a really good one. And the reason I picked that, and it's a little self-serving, is on Monday's show, guys, we're going to have the captain of Hot Hands coming on here to talk a little bit about their going up against teams like Complexity. They've had some big runs against Na'Vi and a couple of other major teams lately through ESL and some other avenues. So they'll be here on the show to talk about making the transition from a little-known team to going up against the Tier 2 and the Tier 1 team. So a little bit of what we got from Two Fish today. Hopefully you get to join it. You get to listen in Highsenburg and hear about the struggles that they're having so that we can all see what it's like to go pro from the amateur level. But that's what we love about Dota. It's the only place where we can take a small project and take it from 45 teams signed up for a league into 400. And that's really, I think, what drives our community. So keep supporting, guys. My name is Toffees. You can follow me at Toffees_Dota2. You can support the show over on Patreon, Patreon/Toffees, to help keep us advertising and sponsor free so we can stay grassroots the way that it's meant to be. The VODs and the SoundCloud are always up within an hour after the show. A big thank you to my guests, and let's give you a chance for any last thoughts before we sign off. Jordan?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks to Highsenburg for a great season. It was awesome to have you.
Absolutely.
I'd also like to, I have a co-owner who works a lot with me, Seth, Shadow Killer. He's been awesome. So I definitely want to shout out to him as well.
So, and remember, sign-ups tomorrow. You forgot to say it, but Season 5 for AD2L starts tomorrow on the website. Go there and sign up. Support amateur Dota in North and South America. Highsenburg, any last thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to Jordan and everyone in the community. Everyone's really friendly, really great. As he said before, with just rescheduling and just general personality, everyone's just really fun to play with. Even in the in-houses. The in-houses are a blast. So thank you, and shout out to my team, and hopefully everyone can follow our team in the future for future tournaments.
Absolutely. We'll be keeping an eye out for you guys. If you want to support him, follow the man on Twitter. Check him out in tournaments. And if you're looking for a team to sponsor, Two Fish, not a bad choice. They've been around for a long time. You guys were Root before, and then before that, what was the name? What were the other names that your team went by?
We were formerly Dust Gaming. That was kind of more the bigger majority of when we played as a team. Yeah.
So, but if they want to go back and look at your past play records, Dust is the best thing to kind of look at for other names on, say, Dat Dota and things like that.
Yeah, correct.
Excellent. So check them out if you're interested. They are looking. And finally, Feedernoob, my queen of cosmetics. Any last words before we head out?
Guys, don't forget to check for your Highsenburg items, and have a happy Dota.
Have a happy Dota, guys. Thank you to the guests for being here. Thank you to the fans for downloading, for listening, for replaying. The show has grown faster and gotten bigger than I ever expected it to when we started a little side project on a Monday morning with Gorgon the Wonder Cow. I appreciate the help. I appreciate the listens, and I hope you stick around. We're going to cut the stream. We'll be back with some music and to talk story if you need it. But that said, have a wonderful day. Enjoy your game. And as always, Toffees out.